Angela and I had big plans for 2020. A new stamp in our passports, maybe a bathroom renovation. We definitely didn't expect to be worried about our income.
When life takes you out of one comfort zone, your Regions banker has helpful tools and advice to help you find a new one.
It's a relief to have a plan for whatever comes next.
Make your financial plan at regions.com/bravethebeginning. Regions Bank. Member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. It's time for Gwinnett Business Radio. Gwinnett Business Radio is presented by Regions Bank. Brave the beginning. Member FDIC.
And hello and welcome to Gwinnett Business Radio from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio in the beautiful Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. Mike Salmon alongside Stephen Julian, who decided to actually show up this week.
Well, first you turn on my mic, and then I say, hey, now, wait a minute. I missed one show, and the show before you weren't able to be
I don't
there.
remember that.
Yeah, so I've missed you, Mike,
I have
and
no
then
memory
you
of
ridicule me at the start of the show. Hey, can I give one shout-out real quick before we start? This is Gwinnett Business Radio. We broadcast live from the beautiful Subaru of Gwinnett studios inside the Atlanta Sonesta Gwinnett Place Hotel. And so being in Gwinnett, one thing I hate, this is a timeless show, but I hate pollen. So if I sneeze in the middle of the show, it's because the pollen count today is over 5,000, and high pollen count is 1,000. So we're at 5,000, and it's not even close to the record. So
Well, we're supposed to get rain today, so that'll help.
that's what I'm hoping.
Yes.
So I apologize to our guests and to our listeners and to you, Mike, and to Amanda, our producer, if I sneeze in the middle of the show. It's not COVID. It's stupid pollen.
All right. Well, with that said and out of the way,
30 seconds, you'll never get back.
our guest today, Bobby Hollingsworth, is the branch manager with Express Employment Professionals, so Bobby is in the house. And also Homero Gonzalez and Margarita Eberline with ULTIM Marketing. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
We were joking with them earlier about the pronunciation of names and fun like that, and I never said, well, let's double-check the name of your company.
Right. Well, ULTIM. Yeah. ULTIM Marketing. All in capital letters. I can't wait to find out why.
ULTIM. ULTIM
Yeah.
Marketing.
Yeah.
So we'll talk with them in just a minute, but we're going to start with Bobby. And Bobby, you have no idea what you walked into, do you?
I have no idea.
We've
no.
locked the doors. You can't get out. You're stuck.
We shall have some fun today, though. Express Employment Professionals, obviously a staffing agency. You are the branch manager. Tell us all about the company and what you do.
So our company, we have a corporate office, but everything's franchised out per office. We have over 800 offices all around the world. We've been doing business for a while. We're affiliated with the Athens area as well, who actually finished out 2020 at number 2 out of all those offices.
Wow.
We are a staffing agency or staffing company, but we're not to be mixed up with a lot of those temp companies that are out there. We're here to find people permanent career opportunities, not 1 to 2 week or 1 to 2 day type jobs.
So, and staffing is something that I think over the last decade, 20 years, people have grown. There aren't many people that go, I've never heard of staffing. What is that? But you made a very important distinction, which is it's more about permanent. What are some of the things that business owners and business leaders need to be thinking about that would make them think, hey, it might be time for me to talk to a staffing company?
Well, a lot of times, a lot of the clients we deal with right now, they may not have an HR department or HR recruiter, people that are actively looking and interviewing and recruiting people to fill a lot of the void they have in the office or the warehouse or out in the field, whatever the job may be. And that's what we do for them. We do a lot of the legwork. We do the recruiting. We do the interviewing. We even do the pre-screening for those offices and for those companies so they don't have to, so they can spend more time on the HR topics within their industry. And if they don't have one, the general manager, the warehouse supervisor, the office personnel, they can spend time working with their staff and working on the operations side of things.
I like it. So one of the main differences being that you guys look more for those permanent positions. Are there other differences, such as are there particular sectors of companies that you guys really find as your specialty? Is it more of a general, hey, whoever needs help, we'll help you find the position?
We do specialize more in light industrial and warehouse positions, but we do branch out and we do cover other administrative office personnel type positions as well as supervisor and management. So there's really no cap. Obviously, there's some liability issues. Holding dynamite is something we can't cover on the workers' comp.
Hold on, I'm making a note of that. Bobby won't cover holding
You get a lot of
dynamite.
requests for that?
Every now and then, you'd be surprised. Driving a vehicle with passengers, we can cover that one person driving, but not as many people we staff or everybody else that might be in that vehicle. And there's a few other exceptions, but really there's not a whole lot of a cap on what we can and cannot staff for.
Bobby, you started the interview by saying there's the corporate office and there's all the franchises, and you mentioned you have an affiliation with Athens. You're Lawrenceville, correct?
Correct. That's correct.
So talk about the area scope that you work in, and then anyone outside the area, I guess they would have to work with another franchisee?
Correct. Which we're more than willing to refer somebody if they are outside of our area. That is not a problem. We all help each other out one way or another because, our main mission is to help people find jobs and help companies find qualified candidates. So we're not going to limit other offices in that aspect. So, our territory will start, around the Norcross area, go right up Satellite Boulevard below the Buford area, come all the way across down to the Snellville area and back up to Norcross. So we got a pretty good section right above the Metro Atlanta area, and it's very condensed. There's a lot of opportunity out there that we're willing to tap into.
In your particular area, what are some of the biggest needs that business owner? What are some of the biggest businesses that you've worked with, or business needs that you've seen that you guys have been able to really help with in that area?
Well, with everybody bouncing back with repercussions of COVID from last year, a lot of businesses are open up. Productions are ramping back up again, which is great for everybody. A lot of warehouse, forklift operators, a lot of machine operators positions is what's really booming right now that we have a higher need for. Eventually, a lot of the admin positions will start opening up. A lot of clients have been calling us. They do have some opportunities working remote still for right now, and some of them are getting back in the office. So that's starting to slowly grow for us as well.
When you talked, Bobby, about the area that you serve specifically, there's a lot of people that live in that area, and there's a lot of businesses in those areas. I assume you want to hear from both the business owners, because those are who you're serving, and you want to hear from the people that are looking for careers and looking for jobs. So you want to hear from everybody, both sides. You're kind of working both sides.
That's correct. So we have two different leads that we're looking for at all times. We have the business sector for people that need help with the staffing, whether they're doing it themselves or not, and that just need our assistance with it. And we're also looking for people that are willing and wanting to go to work and need to go to work. They have bills to pay. They have mouths to feed. They have house they need to keep the roof on. Those are the people we're looking for that we know they're going to go to work every day.
Well, being the show Gwinnett Business Radio, and a lot of our listeners are the business owners, talk about how that relationship starts. Talk about what the first steps are that a business owner, a business leader can expect when they call Express.
So definitely what they'll do is contact Express. We'll set up an intro, either a virtual meeting or in person. We like to get a look around the office, the facility, to see what kind of environment it is, so we have a better understanding what to explain to our applicants as they come in. But also talk about, some of the job descriptions that they have for the specific positions, what kind of pay rate they're looking at, whether it's within the competitive market right now that's changed since last year as well because of everything that's going on. And then the process as far as how to get them hired on permanently with that company, going through Express.
Now, you did say that one of the big differences is, again, the more permanent positions. I would imagine if you have a relationship with an existing business and they say, look, we do need some seasonal temp stuff, you guys can handle that and help them with that.
Absolutely. Okay. We've helped new clients, to kind of impress them and show them what we can do, right, as well as long-term clients we've dealt with for a while and we really appreciate. There are seasonal times depending on the business that we do ramp-ups for, and there's also special projects that may come up for a couple weeks or a month they need extra set of hands for that we'll put out there. And there's been several times people have done those temporary positions through us, and they've stayed longer and actually got hired on. So it's always a chance to stay even longer.
We're speaking with Bobby Hollingsworth. He is with Express Employment Professionals, specifically in the Lawrenceville area, but also around Athens area too. And Bobby, I want to ask you a little bit of a follow-up question. This is either going to be the greatest setup where I put it on a tee and you knock it out of the park, or I throw you a pitch and it actually hits you in the kneecap and you start cursing at me. Okay, so
All right.
Here we go. You've done a great job already in this interview of really talking about kind of some of the differences between you and other staffing agencies. But I want to specifically set that ball on the tee, and I hope it doesn't hit you in the kneecap. Are there any other differences you want to highlight? I mean, you did kind of talk about that more permanent than temporary, but there are a lot of staffing agencies out there. What are some of the other things that really separates Express Employment Professionals from those other companies?
Well, aside from just doing the pre-screening, the recruiting, and the interviewing process for everybody, the legwork that everybody typically knows about, we spend a little bit more of a personal touch with our associates that come in for the interviews. We help them with their resumes. If they don't have one, we help them create one. Also with our businesses, we ask for feedback on day one, how somebody did. Maybe a couple weeks down the line, if there's any issues or concerns, let us know so that we can do a follow-up call and let that associate know, hey, you're doing a great job, but let's work on this. This will help your chances of getting a permanent job with this company. Or if there's any issues or concerns, we're willing to go on site and talk to our people, have maybe a little short meeting off to the side or anything like that. So going out of our way to help the business recognize, great talent, but also giving us the opportunity to come out there or follow up with our associates to let them know how they can improve to make sure that they do get hired on.
Son of a gun. He knocked it out of the park.
I was so confident he was going to do that.
I was so hoping that you would cuss him out. But that was bell-worthy, don't you think?
Sure, go for it.
Oh, I get to go for it. Okay.
He was so excited to ring that bell. All right. Bobby got a bell
Feel
ring.
honored.
Yeah, you should. You should.
Now, we talked about the business owners and what they need to do if they're looking for people. If I want to apply for a job, what is the process that I need to go through?
So there's several different ways. One, you can come straight to our office at 1695 Duluth Highway. We're Suite A. We typically have 2 air dancers outside of our office because we don't have a sign out there, so you'll definitely see us when you drive by. Also, you can call us at 678-475-1010. Just let us know that you're looking for a job. We'll take care of the rest. You can also go to www.expresspros.com /Lawrenceville GA. If you want to view our website, you can see the current postings. You can apply online. As well as a Express Jobs app you can download on your smartphone, create a login. You could apply that way and see what jobs are available in your area with your zip code provided on your address.
Can you just clarify what an air dancer is? For those that may not know.
You can curse him out if you want.
It's those things that blow.
Yeah, the little blowing motors,
arms.
the little floppy. I call them floppy guys. Yeah. That's what we call them in our office. So it's very noticeable out from the road.
You said you don't have a sign?
They will not let us have a sign out next to the road to let everybody know where we're located.
Oh, but you have a sign
that's
on
our
the
landmark.
So you found a way to stay in compliance.
Correct.
And yet also direct people to your
actually
place.
set them up before I left this morning.
First of all, who's they? They won't
the
allow
county.
You, the county won't let you, but they'll put the air dancers are okay.
Well,
they're actually on our sidewalk, which is viewable from the road.
Okay.
I made sure because we drove up and down the road to make sure.
Could you have one of those guys that spins a sign? Would that be allowed? I wonder.
We're trying to.
I bet
we're
you
trying
that
to streamline
they have to
our
employ
costs as
that
much as
person.
possible.
The floppy arm guys, guys and gals,
They work for free.
They do. A
gotcha.
one-time out-of-pocket cost.
Well, Bobby, as we get closer to the end of the interview, I want to ask you about you and how did you end up where you are today, and how did you end up with Express?
Well, I spent 15 plus years in retail. Last job I was with Lowe's Home Improvement for 13 years, upper manager. I liked helping people. I liked correcting any kind of issues or whatnot. The schedule was not my favorite. Obviously, nobody likes going home at 1 o'clock at night, especially around Christmas or something like that, a famous holiday. So I applied for different positions. I got an opportunity to be a staffing consultant, doing the actual recruiting, the interviewing, and filling the jobs, building a relationship with our clients. I did that for 4 years, and then last summer I actually got promoted based off my performance to the Lawrenceville office as a branch manager where I am now.
And it's funny, we joked about the air dancers, and the reason you did that is because of county stuff. I mean, when it comes to hiring, most business owners, when they get to a certain point, they want to hire, they want to help, they want to give opportunities. But it isn't just as simple as, oh yeah, let me just get this. I mean, there's red tape to go through, and you guys help with that process.
Absolutely.
And what I loved was you help free up the HR person that is at the company to do other more important things, especially with operations. Let me ask you this last question. Let me ask you to speak as an expert. As someone who's kind of been around the employment and hiring and things like that, what do you see? Is this just going to become more and more the norm, is using a staffing agency? Do you see more and more light manufacturing, warehousing? I mean, where's the growth in employment in the future?
Well, as far as the Lawrenceville, Gwinnett area, there is a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of staffing companies out there, so we try to promote ourselves as much as possible. As far as the growth economically in Lawrenceville is unlimited. There's a lot of construction going on. There's a lot of buildings being thrown up right now, and there's a lot of them being renovated. We've got a couple clients right now that are redoing some warehouses so some other companies can come in and move in the area. And a lot of companies are going to use staffing for a long, long time. Hopefully Express, but they will, just because how many people we can interview a day compared to that one HR manager, that one recruiter in the office. It just saves so much time and legwork for them.
So if you're looking to build your business, or if you're looking to create a decent life, Lawrenceville, Norcross, Snellville, that kind of area is a great place to do it.
Exactly.
And if you're outside that area, as you said, Bobby, you can refer them to other franchisees that can help them find that position.
Exactly. We definitely don't want anybody driving too far of a job, and we'll help them find an office closer if need be.
You gave it earlier, but let's do it one more time as we wrap things up, Bobby. The website for those that would like to either look for a job or want a career, or those businesses that are looking for people.
Yes, definitely call 678-475-1010. Just let us know what you're interested in, if you have some openings you'd like for us to staff for, or if you are an applicant and you are looking for jobs, definitely call us today.
Great. Bobby, thank you for joining us. And we need to get some of the air dancers outside our studio here. Is that the official name of what those things are called?
They're officially air dancers, but I'm sticking with Floppy Man.
Yeah, well, and sorry, but if anybody's a fan of WWE, Bayley, the female wrestler, used to have them, and Byron Saxton, the announcer, he had this long name for him. So anyway, I'll have to look that up. I just said the reference, and now I don't know the reference, so I'll try to find that before the end of the show. I'll get on that. I'll Google that.
But you did get your wrestling reference.
This is the week of WrestleMania. It's a big deal.
Is it really WrestleMania?
Yes, at two-night event, yeah.
Elijah's
very happy.
I just watched a biography or documentary the other day on Andre the Giant.
Was that the HBO series?
Yes.
That was a
very
great one.
good.
Very well done.
Okay, we've gone off.
Sorry, Bobby. Sorry, Omero and
Great
Margarita.
To meet you,
We're going to get the.
Thank you all.
All right, let me get it back on track. Let me do the banking thing. We all know keeping your company's financial future on track means having the right resources to support your growth. Regions Commercial Banking offers you lending capabilities and strategic solutions tailored to your needs. And you'll work with a team of experienced bankers here in Gwinnett. Discover steps to take that can help move you closer to your business goals. Regions is here to help. To learn more, visit regions.com/commercial-banking. Regions Bank.
Member FDIC.
You still walked over it. I've never gotten to do that. Dadgummit.
I thought you were wanting me to say it.
No, I keep saying this, Mike.
There's a shtick.
I want it. Our little what?
Our shtick.
Okay. I want to see how long I can make that dramatic pause, because I really want to be hired by Regions and do their commercials.
All right, next week you can do the dramatic
pause.
Are you sure?
All right, you've heard that,
and I may or may not jump in.
Yeah, I know you will.
All right.
It's your shtick.
Our next guest is from the ULTIM Marketing Company, Homero Gonzalez and Margarita Eberline. Welcome to our program, both of you.
Buenos días.
Thank you.
Or buenas tardes or buenas noches, depending on when you're listening to the podcast.
Good point.
Right?
Good point.
Well done.
We would be buenos dias right now.
Yes, buenos dias right now.
As we are doing our show right now. ULTIM Marketing is the name of your company. Homero, you are the president and CEO.
Correct.
Margarita, you are strategy director and also a partner. Mm-hmm. So you two are big shots here. We are honored to have you here. Tell us all about your company and what you guys do.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us. I really appreciate the invitation. This has really been the experience so far.
You probably were second guessing the whole thing.
Well, and the thing is that we're neighbors. So, we're very close by, and, it's really good to connect with you guys. But ULTIM Marketing, we're a bilingual full-service marketing agency. We really are able to help any company that's looking to grow their business to take it to the next level and actually have a marketing strategy that's going to allow them to reach the correct audience that they have. And one of the things that we like to that we're proud of is that we are focused on strategy first. So basically that means that before suggesting any type of service, we need to see if your business is actually needing that. So that's a quick summary. I'm sure Margarita has more to add to it, but that's the gist of who we are.
Wait, did I hear that you said that maybe if you're not the right fit, you may say, listen, we got someone better you can work with, or we might not be the right partner for you? Is that what I'm hearing?
We believe in responsible marketing, and it's very important to have a conversation about the why behind marketing tactics that business are wanting to implement. So that's what he was referring to. So if a company comes to us, for example, and says, can you quote me a website? We always dial it back. What are your goals? Because what if a website is not what you need right now? And we believe that that's the responsible thing to do, not to just push whatever service, people think they need. We want to do what's best for the business, because ultimately if the business grows with something that makes sense for them at that time and can fit their need and their goals, then that's best for everybody.
It sounds like one of the things you're in responsible marketing, it's not only trying to help deliver on what they want, but also helping business owners maybe avoid some mistakes. So Let me ask, what are some of the biggest marketing mistakes that you see business owners making that you guys want to help correct?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so one of my favorite ones that I like to warn people against is just because your competition is doing it doesn't mean it's a good idea for you, because you don't know how profitable that tactic that you're watching them implement is for them, because you don't know their numbers. And they may be dumping a bunch of money on something that they thought was a great idea because their cousin said so, or their wife or whatever. No offense, I'm a wife. But they don't show that data to you, so you can't just go and copy what someone else is doing. It might not be the most strategic move for you and for your business. So you should always analyze things in terms of what your goals are, what your resources are, and what your timeline is. Those are the 3 factors that you should consider before just rushing into something just because your competition is doing it. You go for 2.
And I think that's a huge thing, is that first, you've got to understand what your objectives as a business are, right? And second of all, you need to understand the market that you're trying to get into, right? Like if indeed you are selling a product, what is the need for that product in your market? And if you do not know, if you're just trying, I'm going to do video, I'm going to do social media, like how is that going to relate to your target audience, right? So if you do not have that data, if you don't understand that information, then you might be throwing away a lot of money moving forward with your marketing.
So I would say tip number 2, right? The mistake number 2 is to rush into a actual business or business idea without analyzing what the actual demand is and what the opportunity is. And I'll put myself as an example. Like I had this great idea to create a chill pill gift and it sells, but there's not enough of a demand for me to live off of that business. So I had to understand that, and I had to have a come to Jesus talk with myself. Like, no, I know you want to do this for a living, but no, this is not a viable business. And sometimes that's the conversation we need to have with business owners. They come to us and they say, I have this business, make it work, run ads. And we've got to, again, dial it back. Let's see what sort of a demand there is. Let's look at price points. Let's look at, competitive, price points, and see how we can grow this and what our actual opportunity is to grow this for you, and if it makes sense for you to continue investing too.
When you tell that business owner to dial it back, that would be the perfect time to give them the chill pill.
Yes, exactly.
See, now we might have a viable business.
I didn't say it wasn't a viable business. It's a very and it's making money, but not enough for me to live off of. That's all I'm saying.
I got it. That's where it sells. You said it sells. That's where it sells.
I'm obsessed with shoes, so it can't handle my shoe obsession. So it's not a viable business for me.
Well, and also, lastly, I think that one of the biggest things that a lot of businesses fail to do as they're starting off is that they do not seek professional help. And, it's very easy to assume that you understand how you're supposed to market your product, but there's just so many ways to do it, and you have to really consult so that they can give you, professionals like ourselves, for example, we can give you better strategies to really make sure that your marketing gets going.
And that's a tricky one. Number 3, which is delegating, right? That's a mistake. We don't delegate enough as business owners. And I say we because, come on, let's just be honest. We're all guilty of this, right? Sometimes we try to do it all. And sometimes with marketing, it's deceitfully simple. And it's really a complex industry. It's a complex sort of business. And you can say to yourself, oh, well, I'm just going to run an ad on the paper. And there's a lot that goes into those sorts of decisions that you as a business owner might be so highly intelligent that you can probably do it. But does it make sense for you to sit there and study how to do it and try to figure it out and learn by trial and error, right? When you can actually just ask for help.
I'm just sitting back loving this interaction between
They're
Margarita
doing their own
and Omero.
interview.
I love this. This is awesome. I find it fascinating, though. Talk about your relationship and the way you two work together, because just watching you two right now, it's pretty fascinating.
We're kind of like siblings, right?
Yeah,
We like
yeah.
pull each other's hair sometimes, and then we hug, and we're okay. And
Especially the pulling part. No, but really, Margarita and I go way back. We're partners in the business. We have another partner as well, but we know each other from television. So we both come from that background. Margarita actually comes from also, Nielsen and analyzing data and, just TV overall. But and on my side, I come from, graphic design and then, news production and then marketing. And so we met at, working for a TV station. And
Here in Atlanta.
Here in Atlanta, yeah. And then afterwards, Margarita left and started her agency. And then after a little bit, I was starting to get a lot of gigs outside of work as well. And so then I ended up leaving and started my agency. But, one of the things that we came to the realization, and this, again, going back to biggest mistakes, we realized that, we had very specific services that each of us were providing. And that's the reality of a lot of businesses out there, that you'll reach out to a marketing agency and they specialize either on websites or, they specialize on social media management or video. And so one of the things that we realized is that, together we're going to be better for our clients. And so we ended up partnering, 3 agencies ended up coming together under ULTIM Marketing. And now we're really, truly able to provide a full service experience to our clients.
I love it. You complement yourselves each other very well, much like Stephen and I do. It's almost like Stephen and I can finish each other's
sentences.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Member FDIC. I finally got it.
You've mentioned a lot social media. You guys have mentioned results and so forth. Back in the old days, it was print and billboards and TV and radio. It was very simple, and you could kind of measure your results. Today with social media, it's so vast and so wide, and for many folks, very confusing. How do you help measure accurate results these days?
Well, the reality is that the audience is changing, right? And the reality is that we have, as an audience, we have so many more mediums to get our entertainment from, right? To get our information from. And so one of the biggest things that we have seen in the shift from traditional media to the digital world that we now live in is that before, with traditional media, we had a sort of an idea of how many people were watching, how many people were listening. With this, new era of marketing, really, now everything is trackable, right? And now everything, you can analyze data, you can look at what the results are saying, and then based on that, make appropriate decisions. And I think that's where the industry really is looking to traditional media, as well as like, okay, well, we're getting all of this information on digital. How can you also provide this information? And I think that's one of the things that we're looking at. But in terms of tracking, results and tracking data, there's a lot that can be done. And we're a marketing agency that's, focused on results. Because if we don't give results, it doesn't matter how beautiful your designs are. It doesn't matter how beautiful, of a website we can create for you. At the end of the day, if you're not getting more people in the door, if you're not getting more cases or more, customers signed up for your service, guess what's going to happen? You're going to fire the agency, right? And so one of the things that we really focus on is, having tracking numbers, which is basically, a phone number that you can end up putting on your website. Through a platform, you're able to really analyze how many calls are coming in from that specific marketing effort, listening to the calls to see not only what the customer wants, but also how your customer service representative is answering those phone calls. How can we optimize those interactions? And then beyond that, there's these little things on social and all these platforms that are called pixels that you can actually put on your website, and it gives you a lot of information of how people are coming from a specific platform onto your website, and then just being able to analyze that to create a better experience and to optimize the results. Margarita, I know that you have more.
Yeah, I want to add that tracking is almost like a science. So he described the science, right? But it's also an art in that you have to really interpret the numbers and be able to tell the story. I like to put it that way. When you look at tracking, for example, from a phone call that comes in with a tracking number, right? That was the last point that somebody interacted with your brand, and so they called, right? But what else did they do before then? Did they see a billboard and they never called from that billboard? Did they see a Facebook ad and they never called? So it's really important when you're analyzing your results to take into account everything that you're doing and understand the customer journey so that you can interpret the story. How did that customer get to the point where they made that phone call? Or how did that customer get to the point where they clicked? And that requires a lot of data analysis and not just looking at the numbers in black and white where, oh, I got 20 calls from this billboard number and I got 30 clicks on this Facebook ad, but it's understanding the story. And you have to be able to interpret those numbers by an understanding of the customer journey.
And when you don't have data, when you have nothing to base it off of, you need to understand what your product is offering, how people may be, like why people might be interested in it, and then from there, build that funnel, right? So that people can actually get to the point where you want them to get, right? Which is at the end of the day, purchasing something from you, right? So there's just a lot that can be done. And the great thing about the today and now is that we're able to track so much to optimize things much faster than in the old days, right? And so that really saves people money once they start marketing for their business.
Margarita brought up a good point. She mentioned, you make the phone call, but what else did they see before they made that phone call? An old adage used to be, tell me if this is still true, that you needed to see something like 7 or 8 times before it actually kind of registered with you. So in that case, you may have a billboard, but you don't know if it's actually coming from that billboard or not. So it's, again, hard to measure the results.
Mm-hmm. And I know I'm dating myself, but like 20 years ago when I first got started with all this, it was 3 times, and then it's 5, and now it's like 8. So yeah, and it just keeps going up. Why? Because we have a lot of noise and people's attention spans are getting smaller. So, and I did want to add though, and this is for business owners that maybe are getting overwhelmed by all this data speak, okay? There's nothing wrong with not having these systems to track. It's perfectly fine to just do the old-fashioned thing and ask your customer, how did you hear about us? It's okay to do that. I would just say, and this is my Nielsen background coming out, because I used to audit diaries where people used to write what they would see. People lie. They don't do it on purpose. Sometimes they just forget and they write down what they think they saw or what they think, is the truth. And that's okay. So just know that. If you're going to go the old school way and ask people, how did you hear about us? When you're looking at that data, again, it's an art, right? Understand what else you're doing and understand the psychology of the person answering the question. I'll give you a very specific a point with Hispanic, because we do a lot of Hispanic marketing. Hispanics get a little bit embarrassed about admitting that they search for things on Google. So one common tendency with Hispanic, when you ask them the question, how did you hear about us? They'll say, oh, a friend referred me. But it's a lie.
Why are they embarrassed about Google?
I don't know. It's almost like they feel like it shows weakness or something. I don't know. I don't know. We're both Mexican, but I don't know. I don't even know.
I was going to be Googling.
You don't speak for all the Hispanic people.
Well, and honestly, one of the biggest things here is, understanding that just because your customer tells you exactly what Margarita's saying, that they saw you on, TV, or like they heard you, they saw you on Facebook, it doesn't necessarily mean, like you were saying, there's a lot of different touch points that you need to have with a customer in order for them to finally take action. So it may very well be that they saw you one time on a billboard, one time on TV, then they heard your ad on radio, then they saw you on social media, or a combination of all of those. And then they're going to come to you and be like, oh, I just saw you on Facebook, and that's how I called you. But you're dismissing all of the other times. So again, it's very important to take that into consideration. And sometimes when you have such a broad, such a robust strategy where you are involving a lot of social media platforms and a lot of different mediums where you're advertising, you also need to look at, is this combination overall making my business grow? And if it is, then you've got to be very careful if you're thinking of pulling one out, because it may result that
Everything falls apart.
that it's going to make it fall apart. Right.
Stephen, I wish we could find some folks that were maybe passionate about what they did. I just don't. I'm not feeling it
every
here.
week I come in here and I just wish and hope. Oh well. Yeah. Hey, I know we're running. I think there's one other question that I really want to ask based on some of the answers you guys gave. Give a little bit of advice to the business owners right now, even before they call you. And I know they're waiting for the end of the interview to figure out how to call you, reach out to you. But what advice would you give to business owners today of things, some of the next steps they can take? And I guess I'm assuming talk to the business owner who is like, yeah, I've tried a couple things and it's been a miserable failure. I'm just getting ready to look at this. Give some starting advice for someone who's absolutely floored by all the stuff they see and paralyzed by it.
I think one thing that I would say is if you've tried something and it didn't work, don't necessarily discount it or dismiss it, because it could just be that the execution was maybe a little bit off. So don't just take it off the table. Like I have that happen a lot with email marketing, where they're like, oh, I tried email marketing and it didn't work. And I'm like, well, you sent irrelevant emails to a cold list that hadn't heard from you in 5 years. So of course you went to spam. So there's little things like that you can, revisit. So don't get discouraged. Don't get overwhelmed. And I don't know if you want to add another.
I would say one of the biggest things that we encounter when we're speaking to businesses and they don't have necessarily a lot of experience in marketing their business is patience. I mean, really, that's one of the biggest things that we look at, is that just because you put an ad out today and it's been out, or you fast forward a month, it's not gonna happen by magic. Branding is a real thing. Market penetration is a real thing. You have competitors, that's a real thing. And some of these competitors have been advertising for years, decades sometimes. And so in order for you to break through, first of all, let's look at what is your unique selling proposition? How can we actually make you pop in a market where maybe there's a little bit of saturation for your business? So again, it's about having the right strategy and being patient to allow it to work, because trust me, a marketing strategy or a marketing ad, it's not going to give you magical results within a week, within a month. Sometimes it takes a few months before it actually starts picking up.
And that's more probable with traditional media too, like TV and radio and things like that, where it takes a little bit longer, but it works. It's very powerful.
Well, even here with us in the podcast world and our clients that have shows with us, we have to explain, listen, they're not going to call, right then and then. Sometimes they do, but you've got to be consistent. You got to continue that, and you got to have some repetition.
And you've got to be aware, again, going back to Margarita's point, you've got to be aware of the customer's journey. Just because you're offering a service doesn't mean that they need it right there and then, but they'll think about it next time that they do need it, right? So again, all of that, it's very important. There are mediums, and again, I know that we're probably running out of time, but there are some mediums that are a little bit more instant than others, and we can definitely talk to you about those. Like Google is a perfect example of something that is based on people searching, hey, I need somebody to clean my house. And so there, your ads will pop up based on people's needs. But there are other ones where it's more based on people, on just,
recall.
Yeah, recall, branding. And so it all depends on your objective again.
Since we're neighbors, we'll have to have you come back.
Well, there you go.
Because I feel like there's so much more that we haven't even got into. But for those that would like to find out more about ULTIM Marketing and look into your services, what's the best way to do that?
Well,
you can visit our website and just sign up for our newsletter. We have a lot of free resources for business owners, so I would say that's step number one. And then obviously our contact information is also there, so it's ultimmarketing.com. You can visit us there and message us on social media. Omero and I are very open on our social media. I'm Margarita Eberline on LinkedIn, so if you want to look me up there. And then Omero, what's your LinkedIn again?
My LinkedIn, you can just search me as Homero Gonzalez. And on Instagram, you can look me up as Homero GZLZ. And we'll be more than happy to.
I love his handle. It's like a rapper handle, but like marketing. Like I love it.
Nice. One last time, the website is
ULTIMmarketing.com.
ULTIM.
Marketing.com.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us here on the program.
Thank you guys so much.
A lot of fun.
For the
Enjoyed
invite.
the conversation. I know I'm nodding my head a lot. I learned a lot. I mean, Stephen was nodding his head. Bobby's over here going, yeah.
Amen.
Bobby was bobbing his head. You should be in marketing. That was good.
I love it.
I'm a wordsmith, right? flows out of me.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
Well done. Hey, want to remind everybody that our show does take place in the Subaru of Gwinnett Studios. Love is what makes a Subaru. Our listeners can enjoy big savings and a hassle-free experience at Subaru of Gwinnett, where people sell cars. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com and join their family today, or come in and see the difference. If you're already a Subaruist, then make sure and check out their Facebook page and all their social media pages for the latest news, offers, and community events.
After that interview with Omero and Margarita, I was expecting more energy with that Subaru.
So last time you told me I always try to make it silly and I try and get a segue. Why don't you just do the read? So I did the read.
So we started this show arguing with each other.
Hair? You can't pull my hair.
Now we're arguing at the end of the show.
Yeah, well, I do want to clear up one. At the end of the show, they always correct mistakes or whatever. I do want to remind everybody that Bailey's old air dancers were called the Wacky Wavy Inflatable Tube Men, also known as Bailey Buddies.
Did you Google that?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
All right. Well, we learned about air dancers today.
Well, more importantly, we learned a ton about marketing.
We did.
We learned about staffing. We learned about building better businesses in Gwinnett.
Thank you to our new friends from ULTIM Marketing and also Bobby Hollingsworth with Express Employment Professionals for joining us.
Did you say Ultimate Marketing or ULTIM Marketing?
ULTIM. Did I not say ULTIM?
I don't know. It was a little fast. I'm really on edge right now, Mike. I apologize. I'm really triggered.
You did.
I have. I finished. I need another Americano.
Take a chill pill.
If only someone had a chill pill they could give me.
All right. A reminder.
All right.
A reminder, you can listen to the show anytime you want. I know, we're getting the wrap. Join us anytime. Go to BusinessRadioX.com, select the Gwinnett studio, click on Gwinnett Business Radio. You'll see this episode and 8 years' worth of episodes right there. Also, we're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes. We're all over the place. Like we learned today, you want to be everywhere, and we are. And social media, goodness, if I don't mention our social media, at Gwinnett
Radio X.
At Gwinnett Radio X, and we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. Man, we are all over the place.
Amanda. Sorry we took so long.
For Amanda, thank you, Amanda. We will see. For Stephen, I'm Mike, and for our guest, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time here on Business Radio X.